So welcome back. We are now at single elimination, last 32 action in the Taom V10 Helsinki Open here at Billiardi 247 in Helsinki, Finland. We're now races to 10, straight knockout, as I say, and there is a shot clock in play. So standard matchroom rules, shot clock, 30 seconds per shot, one extension per rack. Both players will get 60 seconds immediately after the break shot to give them a bit more time to plan out their routes. The draw for all the last 32 matches is available on Wnt-Livescores.com. This is a pretty tasty one. Francisco Sánchez Ruiz taking on Jani Uski. And the Finns definitely dominating the names in the last 32. Just looking around the room now, I can see as well as Jani Uski, Arseni Sevastayanov, Sami Jokinen, Kasper Matkainen, Jani Saikinen, Petri Mäkinen, Juho Taitinen and Ville Borgstrom, all just in these first 8 matches currently going on. So that's 8 Finns. And the referee, Brian Moss, will ask the players to lag. Here we go.
Sánchez, Ruiz break. Restart the clock.
There we go. Francisco breaks. Makes the one in the side. Christian Seder has joined me once again in the commentary box. Christian is in the last 32. His match is at 4:30, so he's taking time out to have a look at his opposition. Christian, how have you been playing?
Hello, first of all. Grateful to be here in stage 2 of the Taom V10 Open 2025. It's a treat to be part of this elite world-class field into the last 32. I played pretty well yesterday, won 9-1 my first match against Eero Rompanen, and right after, in the evening session, as I heard, Sanjen Pelivanovic from Bosnia did not show last minute, and he was replaced by the very strong female player Laura Saarinen from Finland, which I had a very tough battle against, but ended up winning 9-6. So here I am in the last 32. And I'm gonna play later against Jere Virtaranta, a player from Finland. Francisco is looking here to get as close as possible to the 6 and complete a break and run.
Yeah, and you're talking about the elite field remaining. When we look around the room, we can see Ralph Suke is playing John Morra, Elliot Sanderson plays Kasper Matkainen, Niels Feyen, Felix Vogel, Duong Kwok Hwang, Jani Saikinen. There's so many good matches.
Absolutely normal into the last 32. It's no lack of quality. Is it shot clock from this match?
It is, yes. On the TV table, okay. It is a shot clock. It's a big screen that's available for the players to view. Can't see it on our screens here at the moment.
35 plus 35?
30 seconds, standard matchroom shot clock, 30 seconds with one extension per rack. and they get 60 seconds automatically after the break or after a push out.
Wow, Francisco went in the small window there, small area position, took a risk to play the shot that way, but executed perfectly. Absolutely perfect shape. He'll just gentle shoot this ball. Used all pocket there. Yeah, I think the dynamic of the game is going to change a little bit to everyone, because now as it's single elimination, it's going to play a bit in the mind of the players that now we are all even till the end. Great start by FSR. But I expect a very intense clash here with Jani Uski, one of Finland's representative players. I remember I saw Jani Uski winning heel against Wu Cha-Ching in the Spanish Open 2 years ago, where he showed some nerves of steel to close that one.
Yeah, that was the first time we'd seen Wu in a Matchroom arena for some time.
Yeah.
It was like he'd never been away.
Yeah, he was very missed. Very nice temperament, Jani Uski, very skillful player. I like his moving ball game, very good safety player. Main weapons to have in this game of 9-ball. Let's take a look at his first break.
Solid contact, one down. He's not going to get a look at the two though. Five's also snuck in. Brian Moss just delicately replacing the cue ball after removing the rack. Looks like he might have a thin edge on the two. It's very tight.
For sure not stretching over the table. This is unplayable. I can guarantee you.
Even for someone of your stature.
Yeah.
So likely the push out.
Yeah, no reason to kick two rails or swerve one railish to guesswork something. He's gonna push out and come up with a plan. I think he'll use his extension here right from the from the 1 minute shot.
Yeah, certainly possible.
Okay, so if Fran will take this, he'll play sort of something moving the two towards the right bottom corner pocket and bounce a little back and maybe travel the cue ball towards the three. Let's see. He may pass it back, yeah. It's very funny. I think you can see a thin edge of the two ball, which makes no value to take the shot. Nice try by Uski. I assume he tried to bump maybe the 7 and kick in the 2 ball. I assume he tried something like that because he went a hair too thick, as you can see, and ended up selling out. But if he would have got what he wanted, a gentle collision with the 7, he may have played a genius shot and get the control of the table. Seems like the key shot of this rack now for FSR. I like the way these guys take their time at these shots. It's an excellent example for all the players to treat the shots with respect. Very well struck, went all the way 4 rails, positive stroke, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, when you say about FSR taking his time, that's when we talk about shot clock management, because he's only got 30 seconds, but that doesn't mean that you have to rush. You've still got plenty of time to assess the line you want to take, the shot you want to execute. It's just about making sure you make the most of that time. And now he has a chance to go 2-0 up without Jani really having a shot in open play at all.
Yeah, Francisco coming back to talk a bit about his equipment, coming back to the 12.5 Q-Tech shaft, even if he started with 11.8.
And this Q-Tech cue he used it for the first time at this event last year, the full carbon cue.
Okay.
And it was the first time anyone had seen it. He said it took a little bit of getting used to, but then he hadn't really run deep in any competitions before that, and then he ended up being the runner-up here, so he stuck with it.
Yeah, as he played with the Predator 12.4 before signing with Q-Tech. And he has some background of a snooker player, as I know, since I know Franz since 2010 when he became the world junior champion and was a rising star in the game. He was using to play snooker in Spain, in Murcia, his home town. And I assume he went with the 11.8 to try, but then he said he came back to 12.5, which works right for him. Great start.
Yeah, Jani hasn't really had much to look at, so he hasn't done anything wrong really. Slight sellout on that last safety shot, but it still wasn't easy regardless.
Really nice to see on the screen this race to 10 is kind of similar with the world snooker which is happening at the moment.
Do you follow the snooker, Christian?
Yeah, a lot. It's how I noticed about Q Sports. It is still in Romania the only thing that we see on TV on Eurosport. I was watching since 2003 when I was only 12 years old, and I watched until 6-7 years until I grabbed a Q and found out a pool community in my hometown, Timișoara, Romania. And when I found out the rules of 9-ball, I made the parallel that I already kind of knew the safety moves, just you need to save more containing in 9-ball. I was fascinated by the game.
A little softer. They're like every word, right?
One in the side by Ruiz. He's gonna figure out some safety. So yeah, there's a big debate going on, I think everywhere, but especially I would say in the wannabe pool players, amateur, semi-pro, but also the elite guys are discussing intensely the benefits of maybe playing a little bit of snooker beside pool and if it would help or not. And there are many people that say don't play because it's going to destroy technique and blah blah. But I think it's good for the brain to mix a little bit. It's just plus knowledge.
That argument's been around for a long time.
What do you think?
Well, you see, some people, there are some players who can easily, quickly change between disciplines. To give you an example, Chris Melling, who plays practically everything going. I believe he was a snooker pro at one point. Plays Chinese 8-ball, English pool, 9-ball, and all sorts of variations of American pool. And he seems to be able to switch between them without even thinking about it. And although they are all, cue sports, they do require different skills, different ways to stroke the ball. But he can do it without a doubt. But others do struggle when they change from one sport to another.
I agree, it's almost impossible to go and set yourself, let's say, to become some elite player in 2 disciplines, but just practice a little bit, I think works well. But I agree that maybe for snooker players it could be a little downgrade to play pool, maybe. But
Yeah,
I don't see any bad thing for a 9-ball player like us.
No, I was discussing this with Stuart Bingham yesterday, who was, very candidly saying that some snooker players believe it's a simple game, 9-ball, and believe they would sort of dominate if they came across. But people like Stuart, Gary Wilson, Judd Trump, who have all come across and had a go, show it's not as easy as the top pros make it look. It requires a different skill set. Did well to hit that as straight as he could, just to prevent the cue ball from running away. So now he's got a shot on the 4. Had to use all the pocket to do so.
Yeah, he's just gonna let the cue ball travel towards the 5. Just like that. He played exactly what I was thinking. I was assuming he won't play for the combination.
Yeah, and this is good so far from FSR.
Yeah, absolutely great cue ball control, which makes life very easy and sends very fast a message to your opponent. It's how you say, for us, the rising players, what we are working for, to be able to run out in this way, because this way you may score a little bit in the mind of your opponent.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Jani's just sort of looking away from the table. So he expects FSR to clear these up, and he doesn't want to put himself through it.
Yeah, he needs to take care of his break, and it's still early days. We are racing to 10, so won't be surprised to see Jani giving a solid response.
Yeah, so on Jani's last break, it just so happened that he couldn't see the 2. Nothing wrong with his break. That's the luck of the game. As around the room we go, and we see Niels Feijen currently 2-0 up against the young German Felix Vogel. Duong Kwok Hwang is 2-0 up on Jani Saikkonen, and Elliot Sanderson 1-1 with Casper McKinnon, and also 1-1 Ralph Souquet and John Morra. All the other matches are available to view on YouTube, on the Billiard Tube channel. You can watch any match that takes your fancy, and there are certainly plenty to choose from the last 32 onwards. As Jani Uski comes to the table. It's another good break. And once again, the two ball's just been covered by a blocker.
Yeah, that's really frustrating, but you gotta stay composed. It's the way things go. The stronger you are in the ranking, the more, I would say, you would have to be tolerant to these situations that come up.
Do you think a mindset like that is the key really to the top players?
Yeah, I'm working intense on the mindset, as I feel without that I would not even have the minimum chance to stay on tour. I don't know how the top guys do it, but yeah, you gotta take care of your mentality, because
Interesting push out here. He's leaving an edge of the two for Fran to look at. And the nine's in close proximity.
yeah, interesting push out. Fran cannot clip the two ball that much to make the 9 in the side, because the angle is too severe, let's say.
Certainly looks that way, although sometimes the angles can be deceiving, but he'll definitely hold the two on that, which means he just has to really concentrate on where he's going to put the cue ball if he wants to take this on.
Yeah, I assume he's gonna play the cue ball behind the 5-2 rails, but if he generates a little bit of spin, he has to be careful.
He's passed it back.
Yeah, because he has to play this one with spin to get the hide, and if he plays with left-hand spin, physically the cue ball is gonna swerve a hair to the right, so he can foul directly hitting the 3 ball. So Uski may kick safe here. Let's see. Yeah. I like this push out by Jani, because now he has a, I think, 35-40% chance to get away.
Yeah, which was more than he had before, and that's a really interesting part of the game, is the push out.
So it's basically about these percentages, you know, because Fran knows that he lets his opponent trying something like 35-40%, okay? Which he succeeded. Well done, Uski. But any type of collision would have led to an open chance to Fran. So a first thing going on Jani's favor. I don't think the 2-rail kick is on. If it is, it has to be played with power. And low on the cue ball, like that. So here's the reward.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Jani's made his chance. It looks like he can get through to this too.
Yeah, I will repeat this, excuse me, but the way Uski played, I remember I was entering the Congress in Spain, where the Spanish Open was held, and I was looking instantly to see Wu Jiaqing. I saw playing Uski. Uski was playing some unbelievable safety battles and won against Wu Jiaqing. All sorts of kicks, of jump saves, of smart push-outs like this, and caught my attention instantly.
And there you heard, just as in the background, as Jani was playing that 2 ball, the beeps that go off when there's 5 seconds remaining.
He's gonna power draw this one. Let's see. Yeah, it's hearing. Very nice.
Didn't want to contact it.
Yeah, how they say in snooker, it's end of the break. Yeah, speaking with my teammates also during tournaments, there's sometimes your opponents run out on you. You just could still win, but gotta be able to just win out of these 2-3 visits, some to racks, steal the racks, and then maybe put some breaks and runs. And It can happen.
Jani won't be happy with that.
Yeah, this is a poor safety on the elite level. A very poor safety. He knows it.
Yeah, plenty of room here for Fran to get the cue ball up and down over the edge of the 8.
Great shot.
Once this does slow up, it's just ran on. So he'll be running and hiding here, trying to take that cue ball all the way to the top behind the 7 and 8.
Perfectly executed safety. The bottom half of the table is completely empty, so Uski needs to play this one with this intermediate speed to get some separation. Wow.
Is he
which
going to get lucky
got.
and flick behind the 8? I don't think he has.
Well, consider this. Okay. So he played it with the absolute perfect speed.
Yeah.
And this is when the balls and the pool gods are in your favor.
Yeah, he did just get enough across.
Creative safety here by Fran using the 8-9, but he sell out this ball, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely on. Niels Fayan is 2-0 up against Felix Vogel. Dong Kok Hwang 2-1 up against Jani Siekinen.
Yeah,
Nice touch by Uski. Where's the cue ball? Oh my god.
Felix has just got one back against Niels, so it's now 2-1. Yeah, Jani would have hoped for better than that. He had a lot of room to land in.
That is brutal. So nice. Got away of that push out and safety exchange. Let's see. He needs to kick this one again well.
Wow, I thought he'd made that. That was very close.
Mark Magi is flying on the side table, table 13, 5-0 up against Ville Borgstrom. Let's see if he's gonna kill the cue ball or just gentle roll. Wow.
Missed it.
I usually tell people to not hit the cue ball like that, but it was the spot that we assume he could have chosen, because it would have been funny to access the bottom side of the cue ball. So Jani must get on the board. First unforced error by FSR.
Yep, so it doesn't look like that error is going to cost Jani. He hooked himself behind the 9. So he should get on the board here.
He'll be more than happy to have this rack.
And there it is, now 3-1 behind.
He must be relieved.
Also 3-1 behind is Elliot Sanderson, playing against Kasper Mäkinen. Work to do there for World Cup of Pool start for Great Britain. Elliott. Duong Kwok Hwang over on table 7 against Jani Saikinen. Just doing what Duong Kwok Hwang does. Quietly going about his business. He's 3-1 up.
With the cue ball a little more to the center than his opponent, I expect more impulse into his hit and a little more body involvement, which leads to a better spread, as you can see. So cue ball as a percentage will more likely stay into the center or towards the player and will not remain stuck into the rack.
Yeah, it's a pretty picture-perfect break. FSR has, it's a massive weapon in his game.
Yeah, he now needs to clip this ball. A little touch of inside, just past that side pocket. Wow, he
This is
overhit
running.
it. This is close to scratch. Watch out.
It's just held up. Puff of the cheeks.
Yeah, the rails are very responsive on these Predator tables. A little surprised. I think he could have played this without the touch of inside and go kind of top rail, side rail, end rail, and stay to the 3 ball. Now recovery shot perfect, just clear the 8 ball. Textbook recovery shot.
And it's almost harder when you're the opponent and you watch someone play a poor positional shot and you think there's a big chance I'm coming back to the table here, and then they go and recover immediately. FSR's one of the masters at it when it does go wrong.
It was interesting for me to hear Jason Shaw at the interviews after the Mosconi Cup, that he said he was leading the training for Team Europe and he was working with Fran particularly to fix those movements he has on his stroke. So this tells us that this fascinating sport of pool is an absolutely infinite process of learning. If the world #1 and the dominant player of the last 2-3 seasons in the WNT is still fixing stuff.
Yeah, well, that movement he sometimes has in his stroke can sometimes cause things to happen. I remember vividly at the Reyes Cup, Francisco lining up a deep screw shot and ended up just chipping the cue ball straight into the bottom pocket, to the amusement of his teammates. And speaking of Mosconi Cup, Christian, I don't know if you've heard, this year at the Alexandra Palace, they are extending the seating. There's going to be 1,000 more fans in the
Wow.
venue.
This is huge news. I think some of the guys at home are listening to this commentary also. We have been to Ali Pali 2 years ago and we were already planning. As I started playing all the calendar, some of the guys said that we will repeat the trip, and I think we will. So that's great news for us.
Yeah, you know already
Awesome.
how crazy it can be inside there, and now with another
Yeah.
1,000 bodies.
I mean, we grew up into a city with amazing audience in the football matches, and we are close to Belgrade, where they do some absolutely insane atmosphere in the basketball arenas and also in the football matches. It's nice to see Pool setting up from the match room, doing these setups after the Hanoi Open and the traditional Mosconi Cup getting bigger and bigger. Better break by Uski, better impulse.
Two balls chasing the cue ball. It's just
fine.
going to come open.
It's fine, it's fine. So we could see a break and run. I think the 5 goes in the side. So this could be a blitz break and run. You're just gonna play well from the 4 to the 5 and you are out. Who do you think is gonna win this edition here in Finland?
Honestly,
Are we allowed to?
Of course,
to
you're
call?
allowed. You're allowed. Yeah, of course. If you think.
You will, I won't.
Well, I was going to say
Great
that I
shot
wasn't
here.
going to anyway, because at all these events, there's so many people that can make it. This could easily be a final.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna play in the corner pocket. Nice authority stroke. Uski's feeling it. He's trying to send a message, and
No, I'd
He
certainly hate to curse someone by saying I think they're going to win it, and then the very next match. They have a poor one.
he's two in a battle of generations. I'm impressed by the display of the young German player, getting deeper and deeper in the men's events. After his big success in Saudi, where he was crowned World Junior Champion last summer.
Yeah, and Felix, and there's quite a few of the young players that have been very successful at the junior events, coming through into the main rosters and doing some damage. Riku, another good example.
Yeah.
And Riku Rompinen will be playing in the last 32 at 4:30. And unbelievably, the player he knocked into the loser's side, Claudio Cacci, they've drawn each other again. So it's a rematch. And Jani does complete the job there, as you predicted. So yeah, some of those other matchups that are coming up at 4:30. Piers Labutis against Karl Naderberg. Christian Sadea against Jari Virtaranta. Jonas Suto takes on Ilkka Kangas. And how about this, Christian? We were just talking about Riku Rompinen drawing Claudio Cacci.
Yeah, I think they're. I played Claudio in last year European Open. I like his game very much. He won me 8-5 or something. But he's improving more and more and more. He won a couple of events in the Balkans. And also a bigger one, I don't remember. But I think that Riku is a slight favorite in that match.
Yeah, he certainly had the better of it.
He's on his home territory. Wow, good break again. I think Uski will get involved in this rack. Yes, exactly. It's like in tennis, game number 7 can produce a rebreak.
So another rematch we've got in the last 32, Christian. We were both very impressed when we watched Quintin Pongers
Yeah.
defeat Naoki Oi.
That's interesting.
And they've drawn each other again.
Yeah, if Quinton plays the same rhythm, I think he can do it for the second time, but for sure Oi is looking for revenge. He's been here every morning fixing his brake, which he witnessed that he is struggling with. Yeah, he produced some sort of a comeback in the previous match. In the losers qualification, he was 3-0 down, almost 4-0 down against a Finnish player, and came back. So not in his best shape, but survived. And you know, it's the way tournaments can be won after passing some creepy matches.
And the other matches still to come at 4:30. Mark Beisterbosch will take on Kim Larksonen. Kim, who sent Victor Zielinski packing. Dennis Grabber will play Stuart Bingham, and that match will be on the TV table.
That's going to be a treat.
And finally, in that round, David Al-Qaidi will play the young Estonian Revo Mamre. I was very impressed with Revo defeating JJ Fall to get through the losers qualification, but was quite far behind before making a comeback to just pip JJ on a hill finish.
Yeah, very quality kid. I saw him also in some of the tournaments. I noticed his game. Probably he feels a little bit of pressure in the main tour, let's say, playing with all the biggest athletes. But his success in the junior says a lot. He made a lot of errors in his first round match against Mark Beisterbosch. I think in day one, I saw. But he'll be more than happy to get himself the points into the last 16.
Yeah, and here's a gap between 6 and 7. Thinking better of it, looking at the kick.
Yeah, I think the 6 ball sits just perfect there to stop the cue ball, so he'll play this with a light speed, catch the second rail. Oh, he went the other way. No good.
Hasn't quite got there. Another little roll on the cue ball would have been okay.
(5-2) Donko Kwang against Jani Siekinen.
And that's a good safety there from FSR. Absolutely nailed the cue ball right up against the brown 7. Jani tapping the table.
Yeah, this is very tough to hit. He's measuring a 3-rail kick. I noticed some difference now, watching a little bit. Did he get it? No.
No,
Wow.
he just missed it on the way through, I believe.
Yeah.
You just blocked that temporarily.
Yeah, I started watching the posture of the players. Their, let's say, their stature at the table, and we can notice a difference watching FSR in the chair and watching Jani Uski.
Yeah, now he's extracted ball in hand. He's got an opportunity to put the cue ball wherever he wants in order to get on this 3.
Terrible shot here.
Yeah, a little bit rushed by the shot clock ticking down, I think. I want it to be as straight as possible on this. Make the combo easy.
Yeah, it's doable, I think.
And where's that going to land? That's not helpful.
Still fine. It's just about the position to the 4 ball. But pretty straightish on the 3, so he'll be able to keep the cue ball, I assume. Excellent. He has some margin. Not great. He's gonna be forced to cut the 4-ball on the right side. A little bit unlucky here. He needs to play this very creative side rail and rail. This is gonna be a little bit of a tester under the pressure of the shot clock.
Yeah, and this has all come about from that poor shot with
Yeah.
ball in hand.
Just like that, to avoid the scratch, and this can cause a miss. Exactly what Uski was waiting. So he now needs to add to his basket this game number 7. And with some good composure, he could be even very soon. Wow, very confident to hit the ball. There are players who choose to just roll the ball and use only one rail. I think he's going to stop the cue ball and play the 7 in the side.
Yeah, he's just coming around to look at it, looking to see what sort of angle that would leave by stopping it dead. May just want to pull it back instead, and he does.
Okay. Probably if he was stopping the cue ball, he would have been a little bit on the wrong side. So better to not risk. All about speed control. Perfect. I saw players overrunning this shot these days and landing funny on the 9. So Jani Uski has the support of his home crowd who are clapping for him. He just broke the serve of Ruiz for the very first time in this set and will serve himself, will break in rake number 8 to draw level.
Petri Mäkinen going good guns at the minute on table 9. He is 6-0 up on Juho Taitinen.
Yeah, I assume he was on paper the huge favorite in that match, as well as Mark Magi, who is 6-1 up on table 13 against Ville Borgström. Nice one there against Elliot Sanderson and Kasper Matkainen, 4-3 Kasper. Probably two of the most technical players and most fun to watch. Sami Jokinen is 4-3 up against the Arseni Sevastianov. Interesting scoreline there. Ralph Souquet 3-2 up against John Mora in a classic.
Yeah, that could be an absolute grindfest, couldn't it? Here we go though, Jani Uski. It's a break.
Great break. A little flick on the 9 which landed him again. He won't be happy again. So back to push out work, Jani.
Yeah, he played quite a creative one last time, didn't he? To get the rewards.
What can you do if not smiling? If you break the balls, kind of good. I mean, if you make the 1 ball every time, and somehow the only ball you cannot access, it's hiding so funny. No chance to go direct to the 2 ball, or wow. He doesn't want to do anything silly here.
No, I believe he's just called his push out instead. And he's now looking at where he wants to leave the cue ball.
He pointed at the first diamond on the end rail.
So far, I believe he's handed back every time Jani's pushed out.
I think the only shot that is value here is to stop the cue ball, the 2 ball by the 7 and hiding the cue ball here on the bottom rail. It's all about a touch shot with a little bit of left hand spin, I would assume, to get as full as possible contact between 2 and 7. It's what Fran is measuring right now. Still not sure if he's gonna take or pass. Maybe a little bit of.
Well, he made the 7.
Wow, okay.
Just maybe Jani didn't even consider that might be a
Yeah,
possibility.
it's this absolutely minuscule micro details that these guys who have the sixth sense of the player notice absolutely everything. Not the greatest of safeties, but he's all right.
Yeah, cue ball right on that top rail makes this very difficult.
Yeah, and he's kind of forced to go offense here. But with the speed he's gonna play, I think he's gonna clip the 9 a bit. It's exactly what he notices. That's why he's moving his head sideways. But that's the game. He will have to attack and figure out something right after. A few millimeters. If the 2 ball would have rolled, Jani would have had a tough shot, but a tough shot with reward. Now he
Running
has
out
to
of
shoot. He waited.
Cue
Don't
ball.
tell me he scratched again.
Is it going to hold up?
That's
It is not.
unbelievable. 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 I will repeat this. Maybe he forgot the shot clock.
Yeah, see, when the beeps came, they seemed to catch him by surprise. He used his extension early on, so he had a full 60 seconds, but then maybe took his eye off it because he wasn't anywhere near in position when the 5-second beeps came in. He shot it okay, just the way the cue ball went through the 9 almost and straight into that pocket. Bit unlucky, perhaps.
A little misposition there, a little not notice something there. It's enough for the world number 1 who smells and takes advantage in an instant.
Just needs to take care here. These can go tricky if he doesn't pull this back far enough. But he has. And now routine 9 ball to maintain his lead. And is halfway to the last 16. Now more than halfway to the last 16 is Mark Maggi. He is 8-1 up against Villeborgstrom. Other matches in the arena, Duong Quoc Huang 5-3 up Jani Saikkonen, so Jani's come back at Duong Quoc Huang there. Elliot Sanderson and Kasper Matkainen 4-4. That is close. And Niels Feyen and Felix Vogel in what Christian termed the battle of the generations. It's now 4-3 to Niels, who's currently at the table early in the 8th rack.
Needs to reduce his errors in the second half of the match, Jani Uski, in order to stay close to FSR, and of course hoping for chances in the moments when he cannot control, because that's the part that we all speak about. There will be moments out of your control that you just have to accept.
Yeah, to be fair to Jani Uski, so far he's had 4 breaks. 3 times he hasn't had a look at the lowest ball despite having a fantastic break. And he's only 2 racks behind. So well in this.
Nice shot here to open the rack. You see some of the shots where Francisco is taking his extension down. I'm watching this very closely because I'm also a QTech player and I use exactly his equipment. I see at some sort of cut shots and some sort of severe angles, he chooses to drop down the extension to have the cue a little bit more light.
And just explain to the non-players out there what it means to have a bit of a lighter cue, why you would do that.
Yeah, because with a lighter cue, you are gonna have logically, physically, a cleaner contact when you aim into a thin edge of the object ball. With a heavy cue, you're gonna have a more pronounced cut-induced throw. This is the best explanation I can say in technical terms. Great touch here. Wasting absolutely no time. It's the way FSR produces the game. He'll be relieved also because the mini error by Uski in the last frame made the score 5-3, could have easily been 4-4. So he now must make Jani think more about his mistake, facing the 6-3 deficit in a few seconds.
Yep, only about 10 minutes ago, Jani Uski was receiving a lot of support and congratulations. They got within 1 of FSR. 1 mistake later, he's lost a couple of racks. 6-3 down.
On table 13, the table I'm gonna play, I see it's Mark Maggi on the hill into a blitz set, 9-1 against Finnish player Ville Borgström. It's very nice here that all the matches scheduled start in the same time and the matchroom staff is taking care of the cleaning table and balls. It's absolutely impressive to see the venue, Biljardi 247, directed by Eero Rompanen, that they have 2 sets of balls at each table, so there's no time wasting to just clean the balls, and of course there's no banging balls between matches.
Yeah, so
which happens to some national or I don't know, maybe other side events. So that increases the quality and the discipline of the tournament, and it's the way it should be.
Absolutely, yeah. Eero really does take care of the players. He knows the game inside out,
Yeah.
and he knows what the players want. And it really does make a difference for the players. You also have the players' lounge here,
Yeah.
where players can relax in between matches. Food and drink is laid on as part of the entry fees. And it's just fantastic. It's definitely one of the better club tournaments. I don't want to sound derogatory when I say that.
Yeah,
but when
it's
you're outside of a matchroom major, which has, you know, many staff looking after it, you just come to a small club, and they've really created here something very close to the major feel, you know.
It's impressive and inspirational that with some maybe simple things here and there, you can create something great for a player and create a treat for billiard lovers and of course for the athletes, but also for the people that are coming to cheer their favorites. They will appreciate all this organization.
So Jani has a tricky one here.
Yeah, let's see. Don't think he can break the cluster. Yeah, wow, he took his out of the pocket here.
Yeah, you're trying to get perfect on the 4-6.
Not sure if he was playing for the combination, let's be honest, because it was very difficult to play that combination. He may have just wanted to make the 3 and took the ball for granted. I think he was preparing a safety to clip the 4 ball.
Yeah, either way,
Some sort of, but
taking
never
his eye
mind.
off the pot. Fran's back in.
Sanderson has moved up 6-4 against Kasper Matkainen. So seems like Fran is giving a shot to the combo.
Awkward, isn't it, when you need to cut the second ball by quite a large margin and they're that close. Difficult to read and judge.
Okay.
So he made that, but where the 4 has landed hasn't been the friendliest, but he can still make this.
Yeah, it's big margin for this combo also. He has a special energy, Francisco, when he plays.
It's almost like you can see him push off his feet after a
Yeah.
shot, and he's already trotting his way to the next shot. He knows he's made what he wants to do.
He is an all-around athlete. He was playing football when he was young, before becoming a superstar in the game of pool. He still loves football, as I see on his personal page. He follows the matches of his hometown team, I think Murcia, but both him and Alcaide are fans of Real Madrid. And I think that's a big plus for all the players coming up. They should be aware that any complementary sport is going to be useful to develop their stamina and also mental strength. 7-3 here, in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, and the other thing I notice about Fran's play, probably more than any other player, I would say, is the way his view changes between cue ball and object ball. And he always just stares at the object ball just a second or so before he delivers the cue. But you can really see him, he almost moves his head up and down rather than just his eyes. Over on table 7, Jani Saikinen is 6-4 down to Duong Kwok Kwang currently, so he's come back a couple. But he's also at the table and has a few more balls to go to just get within one.
Yeah, he's one of the veterans in Finland. I remember, I know Jani since 2011 when I first played my first Euro Tour. Very nice guy, telling us about Finland even at the other international events. He was ready to answer every question regarding the city, his country, or anything. So Jani will be for sure fighting till the end with Dong. 2 balls left to make it 6-5.
And back here, Francisco, a very successful break again, but this time he hasn't got an open shot on the 2. Nothing attacking anyway, so he's just going to lay this up. Jani making the most of his extension. No, that's an unbelievable double kiss, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit, I don't know. Yeah, it's that type of set when whatever you do, balls will roll against you. Seems like a pattern in this set.
He just shakes his head in his chair and says wow to himself. Because in all honesty, he hasn't done a lot wrong. He really hasn't. He certainly doesn't deserve to be this far behind.
The winner of this match will play into the last 16 against the winner from table 5, Elliot Sanderson, Kasper Matkainen. 6-4 Elliot in that match.
He's actually just gone 7-4. He's just potted the 9 ball now, so he's 7-4 up. So looking good for Elliot Sanderson at the moment.
Yeah, I expect Elliot getting very deep into some WNT event because he has a very quality game.
Yeah, Elliot's very regularly been getting to the last 64 and last 32 sort of stages of events. He just wants to go a little bit further and get to that final day of those open events that starts on the last 16 onwards.
I think it's not easy for him, as I know he is also a full-time coach and also one of the main promoters in UK and Scotland, as he is gonna host the Scottish Open in Glasgow next week. So for sure it's not easy to play and do these side activities, but he's doing a great job. And he feels it, he smells it, that he can go deeper and deeper, event by event. Very close to a missed position, Ruiz here. Cue ball just stopped in time. So A3 here, a statement from Francisco Sánchez Ruiz, 2 frames away to secure his place into the last 16 of Taom V10 Open here in Helsinki. Too many errors from Uski reflect on the scoreboard, and also some unlucky layouts and rolls against.
Yeah, that's definitely been the case. In terms of after the break, the opening shot is really where the difference has been. Francisco's been getting an open shot most times, and Jani's having to fight for an opportunity.
We have the first player into the last 16, the Estonian Mark Magi, who completed a 10-2 win on table 13.
And it looks like he might be joined soon by Petri Mäkinen, who's on the hill, 9-2 up against Juho Taitinen.
The slowest match of this session is happening on table 2 between Ralsuke and John Mora, 4-2. It's now moving into a 5-2 lead for the Kaiser, who is 6-time Whirlpool Masters champion. What a record. And
Yeah,
over
that's
200
unbelievable.
tournaments won in his career.
Such a legend of the game. And I was saying yesterday, still competing at the very highest level. And he's got so much you could learn from, especially youngsters coming up through the game.
Okay, perfect break now from Uski, who has no chance but let the arm go and take what it comes in order to start his way to a potential comeback.
That's wide though.
I'm really surprised he aimed this ball with side. He was always going to be exposed to missing. I assume he was a little bit awkward though.
From the overhead, we can see the 3 clearly passes the 7. So these balls are open. Just got to navigate past the bit of traffic here, Francisco. This needs to run a bit.
Yeah, a little underheated, but it's going to be fine. Just like that, a little below center, gentle roll to keep the cue ball in control. Nice shot. Stand draw. Now needs to clear the 9 ball, which he did. I thought he's gonna play it 2 rails with high ball. He kept things simple. He wanted to get a little more close to the side rail. He's gonna have his cueing tested at this 8 ball.
Yeah, one of those shots though that feels easier at 8-3 up than it does
Yeah,
at
it was
8-3
a
behind.
tricky shot, a lot trickier than it looked. FSR on the hill, 9-3. Petri Makkonen just won his match on table number 9 with the score of 10-2, and he moved into the last 16 round that will be played at 6:30. Breaking for the match in Rec 13.
Yeah, he's going to get first opportunity here.
He started with a break and run. He will look forward to close with one. Let's see. Interesting to see here if Ran will give a shot at this jump shot. I think he will, even if it's a awkward bridge caused by the 5 ball, taking out the weight of the Q-Tech Propel because it's a light jump and he needs he has the obstacle ball in the proximity of the cue ball, so he needs the cue more light. The direction is there. Brilliant shot executed. Well done, Fran.
Yeah, getting the cue ball up and down in that short space, no mean feat. Table at his mercy now. Just needs to navigate.
Yeah, I counted, so he had 3 breaks and runs out of his 6 breaks until now. So we completed 12 racks. Yeah, he had 3 out of 6. If he runs this rack, he's gonna complete the match with 4 breaks and runs.
Yeah, more than 50% ratio is going to be very hard to live with for anybody.
Yeah. But Jani Uski will look back and know he had a lot of chances, even in this display, which is really fascinating and encouraging even for the people at home who often say, how should I register to a tournament because I will draw FSR and filler and I don't know. But even in a dynamic when these guys run maybe 2, 3, 4 breaks and runs, the game shows us that the chances are there.
Yeah, and that's an interesting attitude that you mentioned there about people potentially worrying about running into those players. I know a lot of players who have asked me, they're just about to sign up for an event and they want to join, they want to draw those players.
Yeah.
They absolutely, that's the dream for them. And that sort of thing can happen. So if you sign up for something like the US Open, who knows, you might draw a Shane Van Boning, a Fedor Gorst, Francisco Sánchez Ruiz, and it'd be a moment to savour regardless of result. Yep. Right here, FSR has done the job.
Brilliant. Great display by Francisco. I think he missed 1 shot in this set. Maybe 1 or 2 safeties.
Yeah, safeties
took
earlier
care
on.
of everything and just is gonna take a nice piece of rest until 6:30 when he's coming up. Probably against Elliot Sanderson, who is 8-4 up against Kasper Matkainen.
Yeah, a fantastic performance. We are back at 4:30 local time. That's in about 40 minutes' time. And we have for you Dennis Grabber against Stuart Bingham.
Going to warm up and prepare for my match. Table 13. Cheers to all
Thank you,
9-ball
Christian.
followers, Wnt-TV fans at home. Cheers, and catch you
We'll
soon.
see you back here at 4:30. Meanwhile, the other matches still going on are available on YouTube. Search for Billiard Tube and you can select the match you want. But we'll see you back here in about 40 minutes' time.